How's it going, everybody? This is your Astrology Horoscope for Friday, October 11th, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Hope you guys are great. It's good to be here with all of you. I've been pretty sick the past few days, and I'm starting to feel better, so I hope all of you are staying healthy and feeling well. So, today, obviously one of the most intense days. I know we're all aware that Pluto's coming direct today, right? And this has been a long-awaited moment because January 20th of this year, we had Pluto come into Aquarius. And right when that happened, the Sun and Pluto conjunct at 29 degrees, right? That left a big stamp. And here we are today with Pluto coming direct. And right before that happens, the Moon is going to conjunct with Pluto. So we want to look back to January, around that time, going into Aquarius season, and think about a lot of the situations that were popping up, and a lot of change that was happening in our lives, a lot of the transformations that were occurring. Okay, now we're on the other side of things. And what I mean by that directly is that I didn't get to talk about because I've been a little sick and I apologize. But with Jupiter and Gemini, now retrograde, we're getting the other half of the conversation. We're getting to see underneath, we've been above, now we get to go below. That's Gemini, the dual. As above, so below, now we get to go below. And when we are willing to look below, this is when we can receive more information, more facts, more truth. And of course, with Gemini being, all about the facts, and being able to communicate the facts and deliver a solid argument here. It's like in order to really get the point across, and in order to really discover new things, we have to be willing to look below, right? We've been above. We've been expanding, and gathering more information, which at times, definitely with the past few months, with Jupiter-Saturn square, it's been overwhelming. More information has come to us and has been revealed than maybe some of us can handle. It's since that Mars-Uranus conjunction in July, it's just been like one thing after another, and it's just been rapid in our personal lives and in the collective. And of course, with this Moon conjunct Pluto, collectively, this is one of the biggest moments, and this opens the window to Pluto coming back into Aquarius. And for good. This is the last time the Moon is going to meet with Pluto. So we're going to feel emotionally, we're going to feel the past 14, 15 years. We're going to feel 2008, right? Think about 2007, how landmark 2007 was, because when Jupiter was getting ready to come into Capricorn, that was the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction in Sagittarius. And Jupiter-Pluto left a big transformation that carried us into where we're at now. So now to see how far we've come, the mountain that we've climbed, the foundation that we've built, what we've had to tear down and rebuild repeatedly in order to keep achieving what we feel is destined to our path and our purpose, which is Capricorn. It's like we're going to be feeling the weight of all that. And there's a lot of skin to shed, very Pluto, shedding skin, the metamorphosis. This is like very much when, the butterfly's trying to reveal itself, that moment where the cocoon, you're pushing it out, right? So this Moon is amplifying that on a very intense emotional level. And I think it's connected with some, things that are starting to come to the surface. Of course, Pluto is like, it's that pressure, the feeling of that intense pressure that we're feeling on a deep level, more than I think we've ever felt. I think collectively, probably more than we can remember. We can look around collectively, and it's like the whole world's under a pressure cooker right now, and that it's just at any moment shit could pop, and holy shit, But obviously with Capricorn, we have to remember that whatever happens in our lives, whatever has to fall away in order to rebuild itself. Like it was meant to be that way. And Capricorn reminds us of that it was destined. It was fated. And when we're dealing with Capricorn, it's all about destiny and fate, right? When we're dealing with Jupiter and Sag, it's, questioning free will. What is free will? What is the boundaries and the limits of the natural law? When we get to Capricorn, it's like, well, we know. It's like we can go as far as the mountain goes. And we can see in the world now when you build your tower too high. You try to go beyond the mountain. Beyond your limitations, there are consequences. And this is Saturn. And we look at Saturn in Pisces at 13 degrees, which will be going retrograde in November 12th, I'm pretty sure. So we just had Jupiter go retrograde. Pluto's about to go direct. Saturn's going to go direct a month from now. This is such a rapid moment where we start to move forward. And it is a great revealing, a great surfacing. Obviously, we've seen an awakening collectively. And that Mars-Uranus conjunction we had in July really amplified that and really set that off into motion. And it does feel like the past few months has been a culmination of what the last 14, 15 years have been that have led to this moment. And if you look at where things are at now collectively, we can even look at the past 248 years ago, the last time Pluto was here, getting ready to come into Aquarius. It's such a obvious reflection. I think for most of us who's been following the astrology here, especially over the past 5 years, it's like you can see how it's developed, and now it's like an obvious reflection in that really since July, that Mars-Uranus conjunction, it amplified it into this mold now that is transformed into this and what it's become. Obviously with Jupiter going retrograde now, of course, the divide and the split is completely obvious. Who's on what side? Who's in the dark? Who's in the light? Who's above? Who's below? Right? And that's what this moment is all about. And it's revealed itself, and I think people definitely know where they stand now, more so than ever. And the things that are starting to develop as well with Mercury, getting ready to square Pluto here this week, right when Pluto comes direct, you can bet that, more information coming to the surface, more facts that can really bring a lot of triggers and a lot of questioning things. It's going to be making a sextile to Uranus today. So this also can be, some very uncomfortable things coming to the surface that it's like, they have to be revealed in order to bring more balance. And we have to question them and look at both sides and also be willing to debate on these things. And also, to find solutions, you have to be truthful and honest and diplomatic, and cordial, not, completely blowing over the top and literally the top of your head explodes, and Mars too, building towards its opposition to Pluto, which is going to take a lot longer, of course, with Mars slowing down, but Mars will square Chiron this week. So today is a trigger point, an extreme trigger point, but also it's not just today, the rest of the week with Mars getting ready to square Chiron, it's like in Mercury squaring Pluto, we have to be ready for anything this week, coming into an eclipse next week as well. It's just like, this is such an intense moment. And it is the past 14, 15 years, and that buildup in this moment now, it's all pressurized to here. In the past 248 years, it's like, holy shit. Jupiter and Gemini revealing more information that, and things that we thought were true. I think that's been the biggest thing, and what I've noticed the most is, the Great Awakening too, that, everybody thought, oh, the Great Awakening, blah, 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 It's been, people are just coming to realizations about, things that we haven't wanted to admit or wanted to accept, that have been too uncomfortable, but things that have gotten to this place, whether it's within relationships or within the collective. Relationships are a big thing with Mercury in a Libra ruled sign, making a square, or in a Venus ruled sign, making a sextile to Uranus, also in a Venus ruled sign. So relationships have a big play in this too, and Venus getting ready to oppose Uranus in Taurus. So relationships play a massive part in this. And these eclipses, obviously, happening in the place of relationships and releasing and letting go of relationships that no longer serve us, which can help us find a better, more stronger sense of self and greater identity and connectedness to our ego if we're willing to follow that path, but we also have to be ready for anything that comes our way. Because over these next few weeks through these eclipses, when we get to that Taurus full moon that's going to oppose Uranus, we have to be really on the lookout for, like, okay, the message is, obviously with Saturn in Pisces, we have to learn to surrender, and that's where Saturn is testing us while we're going through such extreme times. It's like, okay, even when things get extreme or we can't quite make sense of all of it, with Jupiter in Gemini going retrograde now, it's like we're trying to really understand and make sense of all of what we've gone through this year. Okay, Jupiter's only been in Gemini since May, but I think there's been so much that's happened this year coming into 2024 with all planets retrograde, with the Mars-Uranus conjunction in Taurus, that it's been such a fast-paced year, right? Mars slowing down, we're feeling that. I know I'm personally feeling that, Definitely watching your health. Take care of your health. Big time. That's a big thing right now. Especially with Mars going retrograde and Cancer. We're talking about really not overdoing things, not overcooking things, or underdoing, trying to move too quickly. Pulling it out of the oven too quick, right? So we just have to accept, that we are going through a very extreme, intense time, and that Mars is slowing down, and we can't push too hard. We push too hard, we're going to work against our own destiny here with this Pluto Capricorn at its final moment, because it is destined. And, we've all stuck through it since 2008, and we saw it, we've witnessed the world transform in such a crazy way. The world was not what it was in 2008 and 9. Culture was not what it was. There was a glaze. There was a haze. We were under a spell. And now it's like, even within the past, just since July, the Mars-Uranus, I said it, I'll say it again. It's like, there's just been such a rapid, like, holy shit, like a quantum leap or something. It's been pretty amazing to watch. So we're going to be feeling this at an extreme level with Pluto and the moon together right before Pluto comes direct. Let's see what and the moon will come into Aquarius. When does Pluto come direct? Okay, here we go. So this evening, Pluto is going to come direct. Let's see what time. And the moon won't be aspecting much. Here we go. On the West Coast, 5:32 p.m. Pluto's going to come direct here. Now Mercury, or the moon, is going to be 4 degrees Aquarius. Okay. The moon's going to really be void until, well, I guess it'll trine the south node and sextile the north node. So I think we just really have to pay attention. We really have to pay attention. Mercury is in Libra. It's about to come into Scorpio. So With Venus being disposited by Pluto, Mercury this week will also come into Pluto, or will come into Scorpio. And Pluto will be dispositing Mercury and Venus. You know, this is when Pluto going direct is going to be completely amplified at a very intense level. And the moon today, right before Pluto goes direct, the moon is giving Pluto a welcome and a goodbye. That's the last time Pluto's going to conjunct. The moon's going to conjunct Pluto while it's retrograde. So this is we got the death card too. So that was not planned at all. This is a death, the collective death. Of course, this is Capricorn. We're talking about the collective. We're talking about the system. We're talking about the matrix. We're talking about the governments. We're talking about the religious and the power structures across the world. This is a death. This is also an internal death for all of us as individuals. And of course, going with through this North Node in Aries eclipse cycle, nodal cycle, this has been a complete rebirth and healing with Chiron there of our personal identity and a collective identity, you know, and that's still up in the air, but at least, you know, this is the moment where we can start to, you know, shed some skin, at least, because Pluto has been here since 2008, and this is the last moment. And when we get to these moments of these culmination points, this is when the events play out, and every moment from this point on with Pluto going direct, which is amplifying this collective death and this personal individual metamorphosis that we've been going through, this is now, you know, like the final chapter to the story. So with everything that's coming to the surface, even on an emotional level and a psychological level with Pluto, we have to wrap all of that, you know, up in a bow and, you know, really say, we fucking made it. We're not through it yet. Of course, we got to get through these last moments of Pluto picking up speed and on its way towards Aquarius for good. But expect today and this week to be some of the most intense feelings and emotions that we felt all at once. And definitely next week with the eclipse as well. So it's good to be back. I'm feeling better. I hope you guys are feeling well as well. And go check out my new website, alexskylesastrology.com. If you have not yet, I'm going to be posting some cool shit. Hopefully next week. This week got totally thrown off. But I'll see y'all tomorrow. And like I said, I'll see you for the weekend. Peace out. Have a good one.